Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Crusade Now Live. I'm Larry Lassiter. I'm your host for this program, and I'm here with my beautiful daughter, Sarah. Sarah, good to have you with us today.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Today, our subject is one word: why? You know, by its very definition, it's always a question. Why? Sarah, lead off. What do you think about this question, why? It's something we hear all the time. Why? People want to know why we keep the Sabbath. They want to know why we don't keep Halloween or Christmas or Easter. They always want to know something. Why do we keep the holy days?
What we do is important, and why we do it is important. And, you know, when you're in the faith, the Word has to be your first priority, and our conscience has to be educated by the Word. The world has a different way. The devil has a substitution. God has a way. God is a God of specifics. He has certain ways that He wants to be worshipped, certain things He wants us to do. That's what His Word is for. I know what we've been talking about this week, since yesterday was Halloween, and we always hear this when the holidays come around. We have opportunity to witness to someone about the truth about any of these pagan celebrations or observances. Almost always the response is, but that's not why I do it today. That's not why we do it today. We're not, you know, celebrating Halloween.
Word, why? Again,
yeah.
That's not why.
Right.
So it seems like that's the operative word. Why? It makes, you know, seems to make it okay or not okay. Well, I don't keep it for that reason. I know Christmas is the ancient celebration of the Saturnalia. I know that it honored pagan gods. It was the worship of the sun, but that's not why I keep it.
Right.
The reason I keep it is because I'm commemorating the birth of Jesus. Now, I know He wasn't born on that day, but since we don't know when He's born, it's not wrong to just pick a day. And that's why. But you know, the real reason, it's not got anything to do with that. And the real reason, the real why, is that people, they grow up in a society that has certain practices. In our society here in the United States, it's a common practice to celebrate something called Christmas as the birth of Jesus Christ. Something called Easter, even though that's the name of an Egyptian sex goddess, you know, it's still, they think it's okay to use that name and to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus on that day. They think that the Valentine's Day is harmless, or that, you know, the observance of Halloween is just spooky fun. It's harmless, and there's nothing to it. But the truth is, they don't question.
No.
They don't question why they do what they do. Now, I would say this. Now, we know that Halloween and you know, has some very sinister roots. We know that in ancient times in the British Isles, that the Druid priests demanded 1/3 of all of the children to be sacrificed. And, you know, one of the chief times was this time of All Hallows Eve, and to ward off evil spirits. So we know that. Now, people today say, well, but that's not what I'm doing. And I would ask, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you dressing your children up as a ghost or a goblin or a witch or whatever?
What is trick or treat?
Yeah, or a superhero or whatever. Why are you sending them to people's houses and telling them to say trick or treat? Now, what does that mean? If you don't give me a treat, as in candy or some type of something to eat, then you're going to be subject of a trick. There's going to be consequences. Now, that came from somewhere. And I think that one thing that people need to understand, it's not about how you keep something necessarily. It's the fact that you do. It's the fact that you observe it.
Absolutely.
Now, for those of you who are joining us on the broadcast, it would be helpful for you to know that every year during this time, we do slideshow presentations on the city streets in Russellville. We have a big box truck that we use to carry our gospel tent and our chairs and generator and all the things that it takes to put on a gospel a tent crusade, but we'll park that on some of the main thoroughfares in Russellville here, and we, on the side of the truck, we put up a 14-foot screen, movie screen, and then we have a video projector. We will make some special impacting slides for a presentation on this screen. In the case of Halloween, we have some very strong and striking graphics, really dark and evil looking, because that's what Halloween is. And then we have a written message on there saying that such things as Halloween is Satan's favorite day. That Halloween is a day where children were sacrificed, and we have pictures of children, and we have pictures of people, in grotesque makeup. And we usually use a dark screen for these presentations for effect. And we will put these on the side of the road so people driving by can see this presentation. And oftentimes we have people that will park just up the road. They'll pull off in a driveway and or on the side of the road, and they'll watch this presentation. And it's a pretty impacting presentation, and we receive some calls on it generally from people wanting some more information. But one of the questions they always ask is, why are you doing what you're doing? What do you hope to accomplish? And the why is we want to bring awareness to the fact that Halloween is not a harmless holiday, and that its roots are sinister, and it is steeped in demonic worship. And as Christians, we're not supposed to have anything to do with that. The Apostle Paul said that we're not to share the table with demons.
That's right. Both, I know, one night I was at your house, we got 2 phone calls about the Halloween slideshow, and both of them, when you guys said, this was a time when children were sacrificed, this is a demonic celebration, both of the people who called while I was there made the point, but we don't do that today, right? No one really sacrifices children today. And of course you said, well, some of the the satanic cults might, but as general, no, people celebrate it and we don't see children sacrificed. But and that started making me think, well, why does it matter so much of how the specifics of how you keep it? You are still observing that day. People don't really question enough where the details come from. What are jack-o'-lanterns, and why do we go out trick-or-treating? And like you said, why are we dressing our children up and going door to door and shouting out trick-or-treat? And where did these traditions come from? What are we pairing ourselves with?
What are we acting out, and what are we teaching our children to act out? And another thing, we're teaching our children. Now, people, oftentimes will accuse people like us, who are fundamental Christians, who believe in the validity of the Bible, believe that the Bible is literal where it's meant to be literal. Not everything in the Bible is meant to be literal.
Right.
Obviously, Israel was not carried out of Egypt on the wings of a great eagle, literally.
Right.
That was just a figure of speech that God used. There's analogies. But what are we teaching our children? You see what I mean? Now, we're teaching them to be brainwashed. Now, people will accuse us, well, you people are kind of brainwashed. You have too narrow a view